Chris McDonough, what do we do with idiots who make false confessions, drunk confessions to their wives, crazy confessions to their sisters, when there are alibis proving it's not them?
Well, the first thing you do is you slow down, and whenever Elvis enters the building, you stop and you think logically. Okay, number one, you have the suspect on the bridge on video. Okay, and if this is if we're going to the Vikings here, then they really worked really hard to make the universe on schedule that day, because you have this suspect on top of the bridge, and there's supposed to be this whole little coven underneath the bridge, having this ritual of some sort. And then these two poor little victims who are out on a walk end up showing up. This case has all the indications of a highly sexually fantasized play out.
Put him up,
Fantasy
please.
playing itself.
Put him up. Chris McDonough, do you ever have to leave our program and then just go take a hot shower and scrub yourself? Did you hear what you just said? I mean, you just said that murdering these two little girls was part of, I believe you said, a highly sexualized fantasy? Killing
Correct.
two little girls, swapping parts of their
Yes.
clothes, leaving them naked out in the woods, their bodies potentially being torn apart by animals, while the parents and the grandparents are just like vomiting out of fear and pain, looking for their little children. I mean, that's his sex fantasy. You know what?
Yeah.
It's almost more than I can take in.
Nancy, not only that, think about the horror that the children are going through, i.e., there's a gun involved, okay? He's stripping each of these children. And why is he doing this? Is he holding one of them at gunpoint? Okay. And while the other one is putting the other child's clothing on, does he then kill that victim in front of the other victim who ends up potentially running? There's evidence that one of the children were running at that point. This guy is playing out his fantasy, and it's not going the way he wanted it to. And the brutality of this is shown, the fact that a knife was now used, and these poor children, had to suffer through that pain and that suffering in of itself.
Two other Rushville Odinists with ties to Brad Holder, Elvis Fields and Patrick Westfall, are also named as potentially missed suspects by the defense. Although the men live nearly 130 miles away, one of their girlfriends told investigators that she loaned her car to her boyfriend around Valentine's Day 2017 so he could visit Odinist friends in Delphi. Her boyfriend returned the car to her with dried blood down one side, and she says he refused to explain where the blood came from.
What, is she a crime scene tech? Did she test the substance that was on the side of the car and know it to be blood and human blood? Really? So wait, is this another specter, part of the SOD, some of the did it defense? The defense in this case is going to parade in front of the jury. An ex-girlfriend, can you imagine why, says her boyfriend drives to Delphi so he can visit his Odinist friends and comes back with blood on the side of the car and wouldn't explain it. That is not a sufficient evidence to claim that boyfriend was responsible. In one word, Susan Hendricks, it's going to be hard because you have so much knowledge now after sitting through all of these days and days and days of hearings. Can these guys be alibied by the state? Yes. No.
Yes, and they can't be tied to at the cross-examination. I know it's one word, but they could not be tied to the crime scene at all, any of them, even though they were investigated, which it was 6+ years till anyone was arrested. So you understand the investigation, but then were they tied to the crime scene? And they answer time and time again on the stand, no, no, no.